Literally, entire night, all I heard was fundraising.
You're saying basically that money is not the goal, money is the means to your goals.
Right? You see that Virat Kohli sold all his garage.
When you had said no to an $8 million VC investment thing.
Yeah. And I was like, wow. Ayahuasca is probably like the mother
Epitome.
of, all that I did.
Have you ever looked back with, regret is a very strong word, but have you ever looked back with a what if hum kar lete?
Oh, people who think that money has no color are colorblind. Yo, दुनिया नहीं समझ रही है मेरी greatness. दिखा, जहाँ प्यार वहाँ ना करो व्यापार. It's more like a warning for stupids.
Welcome to Not Me Baby, the podcast for wildcards, wanderers, dreamers, and the ones who don't take the conventional paths. I have this incredible guest with me today. This is one of the podcasts I'm most excited about. We have Ashish Tulsian with us today. Ashish is one of the most interesting people because I don't think he's actually had any decision that he's made conventionally. He has taken the uncharted territory almost always, and he has now built a multi-million-dollar business with a 170-member team. He's present in 50 countries. His product is out there at like 25,000 restaurants. He's doing incredibly well, has done so many things, and has founded his entire organization called Restroworks with his wife and co-founder Sakshi. Welcome to the podcast, Ashish.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for all the nice words. I hope we can live up to all those accolades, which are all not mine. A lot of people have committed their blood and sweat for 14 years to make that happen. So I will take that on their behalf.
Yeah, lots of humility there too. Very humble. But no, I think, Ashish, like there are multiple evidences of how that's true already. So whatever you say right now, everybody knows that there's way more weight in what you say just because of your life and experiences so far. You've just done so much, Ashish, like starting up back when it wasn't even known for you to have started up, running an organization, a successful one at that, and then starting up again and now reaching it and scaling it to like a multi-million-dollar business. Back when you started off, back when you were younger, did you ever anticipate this to be your life right now?
I don't know how to express this without sounding visionary, but I think I was fascinated by business forever. I registered a domain back in 2000 and I wrote a business plan to beat yahoo.com in India. It was not the fancy startup dream. It was not the dream of, there was no funding, there was no VC. I had at least no idea what's happening on that side. It was just some intrinsic call which said that I want to build something. And that's all.
What about business, or what do you think led you to the idea of having your business?
I come from a Marwadi family. I've always seen, people doing business. But my father was the first figure who took a very unconventional path from a Marwadi family perspective. My dad has 6 brothers. Our family has a very traditional finance company and cloth trading business in Chandni Chowk, Old Delhi. But my dad, was an academic scorer. And he went to SRCC, Shriram College of Commerce, did his BCom, joined family business. And apparently within 9 months, he decided to wrap that up, handed over the keys to my dada and said, this is not how I want to lead my next, 56 years of life. So, and he took admission back in SRCC in MCom and then went on to do CA, CS, LLB, PhD.
No, okay then.
Wrote a couple of books, became a professor in Delhi University. But I grew up not knowing my dad as a Delhi University professor. I grew up knowing my dad as a stock market investor who also goes to college. Because my dad very smartly chose to be in an evening college instead of a morning college because 9:30 to 3:30 there's market. Right? So I always saw him trading. I always saw him investing. I saw him passively involved in family business. And I saw him, being a professor in Delhi University who will go to evening college, leave home at whatever, 2:30, come back at 7, 4 days a week, extremely hedonistic life in the sense that if he doesn't want to do anything, he will not do it. It's just like that, right? And he'll be on his own. So subconsciously, I kind of got trained in this particular aspect of life that you don't want to do something that you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that your father was doing both the stock market part in the daytime and in some effect, like at night, he was a professor. Do you think in some sense that level of aspiration and ambition is something that you drove out of what your dad was doing?
How I looked at it or what I learned from it, what I felt was that he was doing what he loves. And he was categorically, just evicting himself out of things that he does not want. But what I learned from all of that is that I realized that, okay, my dad has chosen certain areas that he loves. He chooses the color of money. For him, money is not just money. For him, where you earn from has a bigger impact in your life than what you earn. And it was not about being morally right, morally wrong. It was like above that. It was basically choosing the color of money, choosing the type of money, choosing the type of work you do, and ruthlessly choosing what not to do and being at absolute, peace with it. I think I learned all of that, quite voraciously.
I find the phrase color of money very interesting. And I think if you can give me perspective on what that means to you, but dusra also between your childhood to now where you're at, right? Do you think there has been some sort of evolution in your relationship with money?
People who think that money has no color are colorblind. Money always has color. And for example, when you take money from a customer, your obligation is to deliver your promise, you deliver your product. When you take money from an investor, your obligation is to return that capital in a couple of X's, whatever that investor has promised his investors, and so on. When you take money on debt from a bank, it comes with its own obligations. When you take it from a friend, it comes with its own obligations. With a friend, that obligation might be beyond just returning the money, and so on, right? So it always has color. You choose your color very. You have to choose it wisely. If it doesn't match your view of life, there is a very high chance that you're going to get in trouble because your taste of life will get spoiled. Because anyway, you're working any day, every day. Now, within the customer base, you further choose which customer to take money from. Because how are you going to deliver that obligation in terms of your product, your service, your availability, your hours is going to be a function of who you choose as a customer. If a customer has demands that don't meet your view of how you want to deliver, please don't take that money. Don't say, oh, but they're a customer. Oh, but we serve restaurants. Every restaurant is my customer. No, absolutely not. That money is going to harm me more than it is going to help me, and it is also going to harm the customer because when you are in conflict, both the parties are not having fun. So for everybody's peace, stay away from that money, refund it as soon as possible, get rid of it, move on, reserve your energy for all the right kind of obligations that you want to deliver. Don't get stuck in the loops where you are having a bad time while delivering what you're delivering, and don't take that money. So for me, color of money is that.
In a way, आप कह रहे हो घर आई लक्ष्मी को मना कर दो.
100%. Because also if you think about it, in life, that's the biggest leverage. पैसे को मना कर पाना, इससे बड़ी leverage क्या हो सकती है? That liberates you from everything. And I'm not saying this arrogantly. And while I'm saying this, it has nothing to do with how much you have. I will meet people at times who will say कि आप अभी कह सकते हो ऐसा, when you started, imagine, could you have done that? I mean, I have two responses to that. One, the fact that you feel that I have all the money that I need right now, that's cute. And 2, I was saying no in 2012 as well. Because me saying no to wrong money is not a function of my pocket. It's a function of my decision for how I want that money to shape me. I would rather take debt than take your money, which is going to screw me up. So, Garai Lakshmi ko mana karna बहुत important है. Because otherwise, गलत लक्ष्मी भी परेशान होगी, आप भी परेशान होंगे, साथ देने वाला भी परेशान होगा. It's a circle of mess. I've never seen people who don't choose the color of money prosperous. I've never seen that. They earn, they make money, but they're stuck in the loops of the obligation of that money, that after a point they realize कि shit, कमा तो बहुत लिया, खर्च करना भूल गए, use करना भूल गए. Where is all of that coming from? That's only coming from the fact that money has brought more pain than it has, than prosperity. And you feel screwed. In fact, your view of life changes. A lot of people will tell you, oh, पैसा कमाना बहुत difficult काम है, पैसे के लिए तो सब कुछ करना पड़ता है. सच है और नहीं है. Because फिर तो prostitution will be a very good career option.
Yes.
Right? And I don't look down upon prostitutes who actually confirm that they are prostitute. My problem is with people who are masquerading around as white collar but are doing prostitution. And prostitution की definition मेरे लिए सिर्फ इतनी ही है कि आप कह रहे हैं give me money and get whatever you want. No. You need to decide what is it that you want to deliver. You need to see, can you deliver that exactly as promised or better? And then you charge your money. And then you sign a contract with the party who's giving you money. You agree on that promise, and then you deliver. And then you take a sign-off. That's business. That's service. That's profession.
Yeah.
पैसे दीजिए, कुछ भी कर लीजिए is थोड़ा off.
There's one part of this which is having the foresight and prioritization to understand कहाँ पर effort डालना है. But there is this whole other part of it that is mindset, which is to be in a position to say no to money when you need it, when you know that this is something that might just kill you or like have really negative repercussions. Where do you think that mindset comes from? And do you think you always had it in life?
I think I had the mindset, but gumption to say no when we needed it was character building. Was truly character building. I can tell you days when I have said no to business or, as I said, refunded money, the money that we didn't have. Once I actually took debt to return somebody's money.
Do you think in some way you could say that because you had seen enough?
Not really. Not at all. As I said, I needed it.
Right.
I mean, why will I take loan to pay somebody off, right? See, business is never easy at any scale. When you look from a distance, you feel, oh, this guy's privileged or this woman had so much. Yeah, privilege is there. Let's not deny that. Anybody who's born and raised in Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, like major cities, irrespective of what your parents' financial situation is, I'm telling you, you are 99% more privileged than average India just by being born and raised in a city. So we'll not discuss, there's no absence of privilege, but this does not come from only privilege. But I think the gumption probably came from I will attribute this to, as I said, my upbringing, not being in conflicts. अगर conflict हो भी गया तो निकल जाओ उससे.
That reminds me, there was also this, when we speak about color of money and saying no, I think there was also this one time when you had said no to an $8 million VC investment thing. Yeah. How did that happen and what made you do that?
Very similar thing. I think, amazing that you did your research. It was the very same thing. Similar thing, right? A top tier VC fund met us, kind of felt that we were interesting. Thankfully, because we were not pitching and this did not land from a excruciatingly painful pitching process which entrepreneurs go through. So we still had an opportunity to think through it a little more clearly than somebody else. Had I gone to like 50 VCs and one guy had given me a term sheet, I know the power equation would have been very, very different. So this guy walked in and like very quickly, like in 2 weeks, it resulted in a term sheet. And that term sheet was for $1 million. We basically said no to their terms. They agreed to our terms. We were like, okay, this is cool. And then in a week, they came back and said, okay, we want to give you $3 million instead. I said, okay, but I'm not going to change the valuation. So dilution, like it's going to be a technically 3x the valuation from before. And they say, yeah, that's okay. So, okay, let's do this. And while, all the DD, SHA, etc. is being drawn, they came back and said, we're going to give you $7 million. This time, not, of course, with the same valuation. There's going to be a high dilution. But I think in that 1.5 month, me and Sakshi started, we tasted from a distance.
1 second, just for the listener, Sakshi is your partner
is my
and
co-founder.
co-founder.
She's my wife. She's my life partner. She's my college sweetheart. And, I don't remember life before her. And so me and Sakshi got a taste of how VCs think, how they operate. We got a taste of how they're thinking about $1 million to $3 million. What is it that they want us to do with 7? What are their plans? We also saw how blind they are to our stage of product, our stage of evolution, because just because $7 million is going to be in the bank, they wanted us to do something tomorrow morning, which I was like, even if I had 70, why will I do that? I mean, that's just nuts. Because I'm not ready for it. Just because I have $7 million in bank doesn't mean that somebody's going to buy from me. They still want the product to be perfect, platform to be there, our company's ability to absorb that responsibility and so on, right? So, and I saw that how dismissive they were of that fact. I mean, everything just was bolting upon money will solve everything. Money is going to solve this. Money is going to solve that. I think we just grew super uncomfortable through that process. And I think we sat down and we were like, what the fuck is going on? And I think this was and this is 2014, by the way. 7 million sounded like 70 million. Today, millions have lost their sensitivity in the word, not their value, but sensitivity. And I think me and Sakshi sat down and we were like, what are we doing? I mean, for them, it's a portfolio. For us, this is life. And why are we going to lose it just because somebody has some pigscanfly.com kind of idea? Because even if it perishes, for them, that's pocket change. For us, this is not. And we went back to the VC. And we also saw fragile ego. So I called a mentor of mine, and who was also one of our angel investors. And I asked him, I said, say, this is the situation. This is the top tier fund, top tier partner. I'm planning to say no. And the guy was horrified and he was like, no, don't burn the bridge, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I understand. I understand. I don't want to rub him wrong. But I also don't know how to do it right. I mean, I'm not doing it for sure. So he said no, but you have to understand, if he had said no, this would have been a different thing. I said, wait, what if he says no? He's like, dude, what are you thinking? I said, don't just tell me. What if he says no? He said, I mean, will you be able to take the fact that they said no to you? I said, I'm very happy. I have no idea. I have no problems. He said, yeah, then it's cool. But what are you thinking? I said, don't worry. I'll make it happen. You know what it took for them to say no to us? One disagreement. Their grand plan of global Restroworks or Possessed then, for the first time in that 1.5 months, I disagreed with that guy. And he lost it. And I said, I don't think that's a good strategy. And he looked at me and he was like, oh, you think that it's not a good strategy? I said, yes. He said, well, then it won't be interesting for us. I said, sir, then let's not do this.
Make your pooch.
Yes. And in that moment, he got shocked. And then he figured. And then he smiled. And he said, did you just say what I heard? I said, yes. He said, so are you saying that we don't do this? I said, yes. He said, that's a mistake. I said, I'll take it. He said, okay. But you can come back to me in 2 days in case a change of heart. So I said, nahi hoga. And then he said, Ashish, but you understand, you're thinking too small. I said, absolutely possible. And I probably have, you have forgotten more than I've seen. But honestly, I am very happy. और मेरा ना ठीक चल रहा है. And मेरे को ना आपके कैरी के 20 मिलियन बनाने के लिए अपनी बिलियन की मरवाने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं. क्योंकि मुझे आपका मैथ भी पता है. So nothing against anyone. It's a sport that I'm not signing up for. That's all. Not my poison. Not my race. Not interested. You call it small, you call it big. Also your opinion, and I agree with it. I have no issues. And we walked out. And me and Sakshi opened a champagne at a restaurant in Promenade, Delhi.
For having said no.
Oh, yeah. We spent 22,000 rupees on that bottle because we just suddenly felt that a load was lifted off our shoulders. We had started having dissonance in our vision of what we are building in that 1.5 month alone. But yeah, that also was a cool experience because that just gave us ultimate clarity on that. This VC business is not for our stage. And I still say this to a lot of entrepreneurs. I think I don't want this to be construed as a debate of Bootstrapped versus VC. It's not. Is it a badge of honor? I don't think so. Is it a bad thing? No. I think at every stage of life, at every stage of evolution, you need to figure out what's the color of money that suits you today. अगर आपको वेंचर मनी सूट करता है, sure. हो सकता है हमें कल VC मनी सूट कर जाए, हो सकता है कभी ना करे. That's money. Whenever the color will match, we'll do that. हो सकता है कल वो पैसा हमारी टर्म्स पे है, हो सकता है उस स्टेज के लिए वो टर्म्स फेवरेबल हो. I mean, I don't know. So I think I never had a hating VC phase. But yeah, of course, my view of most of the VCs is extremely poor because their business understanding is extremely shallow. And that is why we see every day billions of dollars down the drain, companies, going absolutely crazy haywire, entrepreneurs firing people, hiring people, both randomly, products failing. Because the entire VC math is that if I throw up enough money at something, it will just magically work.
Have you ever looked back with, regret is a very strong word, but have you ever looked back with a what if hum kar lete?
Oh, we have looked at that 100 times with absolute horror.
Okay.
I can't express that enough. And by the way, I should tell you that, we have got a lot of, we keep getting a lot of VC inbounds. Just because of the sector and, some point, some VC will get a thesis or, start making a thesis for restaurant tech. They will invariably reach out to us. So that keeps happening. And every year, some or the other VC, I will call them, sure, aa jaiye, bataiye. Let's assume that we take your money. Here's the whiteboard. Please paint a picture for me. How does that look like for us? Because you found us out, you reached out, so we'll be all ears. And every year somebody is going to paint their vision in front of us, and we'll be like, oh my God, very good. We didn't take that money. This would have ended very, very differently, in a very, very bad way. Personally, for us, guaranteedly, because I find it, and this is not a comment on other entrepreneurs. It's like I see so many founders, today quitting their companies at a massive valuation, and I've had candid chats with a lot of them. So many of them are friends. I've actually asked somebody who owns 4% of their company at a $1 billion plus valuation. I asked them that, why are you leaving now? And the guy was like, boss, business is great. What I've built, I'm very proud of. And I'm talking about the good companies. He said, but now I feel like I'm a hired CEO because companies technically board run. And nothing against those people. Just that, I mean, there is no upside left for me to remain in power. And I feel very bad in that moment, because this induced ambition that one day you should exit your business, that is bullshit. Ambani never walked away from his business. Birla never walked away from his business. Tata has been doing generational business. I can point at 100 families in India who every VC who's giving you gyan to exit one day is also going with a katora to be an LP, right? When a VC tells you that, oh, so you're building a lifestyle business, I'm like, yeah, I mean, my lifestyle business will one day give you funding for your fund and I'll be an LP and I'll be asking you the same question, that kya ho raha hai? Return IRR kya ho raha hai? This is not against the VC as an entity. VC is one part of the puzzle. My speak is for entrepreneurs. That if you are building something meaningful, which you are going to give a decade plus of your prime, if at the end of it, you want to walk away or you have to walk away from it, trust me, it's not going to be a happy ending always. There are few friends of mine who exited their companies are very, very happy. Exiting is not bad. But did you exit because you wanted to exit? Or did you exit because now it was like, okay, this is kind of done?
Quick rapid fire question, which is that would you choose agency over scale and wealth and money that comes with it?
I don't think that's what I'm saying. This is oversimplification. The investor side capitalism has, convinced people that either you can be profitable or you can be growth mindset. No, absolutely not. You basically build it in layers and the exponential curve hits you later. That's all. Exponential curve hits different companies at different times. There is a company called UiPath. 16 years before they were discovered. $10 million revenue. 5 years from then, $1 billion in revenue. Right? But 16 years, they were building, getting layered. Yeah. Somebody can ask that, we should have found them early. No, you would have rejected them. They were not ready. This is all hindsight because it happened, so we can make stories about it. But you can't really deny that. So I don't think it's agency versus success and wealth. I think I will choose agency for sure, but not at the cost of success and wealth.
Right.
I'm saying I will choose agency because then I am responsible for my success and wealth, and I will take the brunt, the failure of it as well. I will own fully. Without any ifs and buts.
I think that's also one thing that you mentioned, right, in multiple conversations that we've had. Just the sense of having fun. As long as that agency exists, that's fun exists.
Value. Yeah. That's absolutely my core value. If I am not having fun doing something, it's not worth it. And it doesn't mean that every day is a happy day or life बहुत ही शानदार है और कोई problem नहीं है. फट रहा है, आग लगी हुई है. That's also part of the fun. I mean, that's also my day. It's as much my day as the great day is. The point is that I go through that 80% grind to enjoy that 20% that is after 80% grind. I want to own both equally. But if I'm not having fun, I won't do that. And that is why, as an entrepreneur, one thing that I've learned also, by the way, as a founder, this can also be prohibitive in companies' growth at times.
Sure.
So what I do is, if I am getting bored in a certain piece, but the piece works very, very well, I will plug myself out. And I will give it to somebody who can actually run it for what it is. And I will find my dope in something else. I will find my dope in, building some other part of the business. But I am not going to. So I learned it. I never had that. I think in last 5-6 years, I learned that as a founder, this continuous hunt for dope is also prohibitive to the scale and the growth of business because you want to innovate. Scale happens by repetitive business. It doesn't happen because of innovation. Innovation is a separate engine which feeds into the larger business. But if you keep innovating one process or one product or one offering, then you are in loops, right there. Things will get, improved. But scale won't happen because scale happens when the same boring shit is done 1,000,000 times over. And if you are not that guy, plug yourself out, empower somebody else to run that, repetitively. There are all kinds of people in the world. The one who finds their dope in that, please bring them and just stay away.
How do you think have you been able to recognize induced ambition and then start separating yourself from it and coming back to your authenticity?
Great question. I think these are just, so there are two answers to this. One is continuous introspection, like just maniacal introspection where you keep watching yourself, where you keep watching what you say, where you keep watching what you promise, where you keep watching what's your dream. And you kind of keep questioning that कि okay, कह दिया कि हम ये करेंगे, but क्यों? कहाँ से आ रहा है ये खुद सोचा या किसी और का देखा था? और कोई बुरा नहीं है. Getting inspired is great. But then you need to keep hammering that inspiration again and again because at times it's infatuation. At times it's just somebody's view of success becomes your idea of success because you don't have an opportunity to dig deeper and genuinely ask them that how are you doing? What's your cohort of people you spend most time with? What are their values? What do they stand for? What are they talking about? Like I remember I was in Bangalore once and at a startup party, literally entire night, all I heard was fundraising, exit fundraising. And I was like, wow. Because if somebody in this room was not fundraising, will drown in themselves tonight. Like they will completely go in the corner and feel like a loser. Is it a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. All I'm saying is that room is going to shape you. Should you be in this room? Yeah, you should be aware that you're in this room. That's all. Fundraising or exit, dono puri baat nahi hai. But if you're on autopilot and doing that, it's a very bad thing.
You said people need to live their own life of sorts. What do you think is your idea of success and your idea of life?
Success ka to nahi pata because once I'll be successful, I'll let you know. But
क्या है वो aspirational success अगर है तो?
Ultimate तो नहीं है. I think I don't have an idea of ultimate success now. And I can tell you that over years, we have gone through that introspection loop again and again. So today we are a little more settled about continued success than a final success. I'm more invested in continued success. I want to remain successful on a day-to-day, month-on-month basis than there is a final goal. But what is that idea of life? I think it's a very ikigai sort of idea, if that makes sense. So I love something. I'm deeply passionate about it. I'm good at it. And I'm getting paid for it. If I can do this every day of my life, and that pays for my life, and it allows me to do things as my ambition is growing towards them, I'm very happy.
This reminds me of, I had seen that, I think you mentioned that about age 22, you had earned about 35 to 40 lakhs, right? And this is quite a few years ago. And you mentioned about how your perception of money, right, is so different from that time versus now when you earn considerably more. I think the question that comes down like from all of this is just is there money associated with success for you, or is there a relationship to money associated with success to you?
I think relationship to money is is actually the most important part. But I think, mind you, before I say something for anybody who's listening to this, I think before relationship to money is explored, you need money.
Yeah.
So that's a baseline, right? Unless you have earned money, let's not over intellectualize the relationship to money problem. But yeah, I think my relationship to money has evolved over years, in the sense that it's not that I'm not materialistic, but I have my area of materialism. So my relationship with money, if I wrap it, is that it enables me to do things that I want. It enables me to work on things that I want. It enables me more and more to hire people that I would love to work with, and I will not get a chance to work with them any other way because they also have bills to pay. It allows me to, have experiences in life that are crazy. I've had a lot of them. I'm a sucker for, various different experiences in life. I respect money for what it is. It enables me to do all of that, including this conversation. And I respect it exactly for that. But if you ask me beyond that, I don't even know what's beyond that, because technically all of anything beyond this is of no consequence to anybody's life. That is why most of the billionaires you see doing philanthropy, doing a lot of stuff, because at the end of the day, how much can money enable you, beyond? Yeah. And then there are people like Elon Musk who are using money for, crazy stuff, which is still great. There's nothing in between.
You're saying basically that money is not the goal, money is the means to your goals.
Money is very important. Yeah. Money is the means to, I don't think money is even the means to the goal. Thank you for articulating that. I think money gives you the means to pursue the goal. Goal hit hoga, nahi hoga, wo aapke haath mein nahi hai. But money is required to enable you to take a shot. Iske alawa, there is no use of money. And if you don't have a goal, you're screwed. Because then the money will not do anything for you. What will money do? How many cars will you buy? Right? You see that Virat Kohli sold all his garage, back. It has happened with 100 people in my network.
Yeah.
Right? Is buying a Lambo bad? No. If you can afford it, you can take it for a spin, take it. But eventually, आप उसे बेच दो. मतलब that's the ultimate point. So अगर आप लाइफ में मर के जी रहे हैं क्योंकि लैम्बो खरीदनी है, तो आप गधे हैं. मत करिए. मर के मत जिए. जब अफोर्ड कर सको ले लेना. Having that ambition is also not a poor idea. But that cannot be your ultimate goal. And if that is your ultimate idea of success, then it is poor and it is also induced. क्योंकि वो आपका idea of success नहीं है. आपने किसी को देखा था. आपको लगा यार क्या जिंदगी है यार इसकी, यार मजा आ गया, अगर ऐसा हो जाए तो मजा आ जाए. उतना नहीं आएगा. मतलब आएगा बट उतना नहीं आएगा.
मुझे ये चीज़ पे I want to dig a little deeper here, because let's say Lambo किसी का सपना है and they really, really want it. In some way, it is driving them towards it.
Yeah.
That drive exists and that drive is real for that person in that moment,
Correct.
right? And they
100%.
could grind themselves out towards reaching that goal.
Sure.
And perhaps they have fun during the journey of the grind towards achieving that. But I remember offline, we had a conversation about like some element of flavors of drive also. So in this case, are you particularly talking about people who, let's say, have an aspiration for a Lambo, but are coming from a negative side of drive?
No, I'm just saying that if you have an aspiration for Lambo and if that is primarily driving you, then it may not end well for you, is all what I'm saying. Whether you achieve it or not. In both cases, because it can be a secondary driver, it can be a tertiary driver. And if you are so infatuated in this moment with that, it's okay. It's a good idea to take a step back and answer this one question. What if you get it? What's the next purpose? Maybe something will come out. Right? What if you get it is a bigger problem, is the point I'm making. I'm not saying Lambo अच्छी चीज नहीं है. बिल्कुल आप लीजिए. मेरे material desire से कोई लड़ाई नहीं है. I'm only saying that material desire will get achieved eventually.
Yeah.
Right? And it will, you will be surprised that it's not sustained happiness for you. In that moment, purpose is going to be the problem. But if you have a purpose which is a little more long term, and this purpose can also be very capitalistic. I have a capitalist purpose. I want to be the best restaurant tech company in the world. I don't need to be lucky twice. I'm preparing to play the Olympics of whatever restaurant tech can be. I find it a very capitalistic purpose, and somebody can say, "Yo, I want to change the humanity." I agree with you. मेरा अभी नहीं है, हो सकता है evolve हो जाए, मुझे नहीं मालूम है. पर at least ये वाला purpose जो है, achieve होने के रास्ते में, I will gain a lot of other material, and I'm very happy about it. I keep gaining it whenever I can.
That brings me to another conversation we were having, more on unconventional decisions and choices, right? You choosing to have your wife as your co-founder and her choosing you as her co-founder when both of you were independent founders before that. What do you think made this Band Baja Barat scene for you? Like, how did it come to happen?
For me and Sakshi, so whenever somebody asks us that how does it, how does it feel like to be working with your life partner, with your spouse at work? I generally tell them that stunts shown here have been performed by professionals with years of experience. Don't try this at home. I think it's the best decision of life, honestly, for us. Because I think I'll tell you how it happened, but me and Sakshi were running two different companies, but Sakshi was this tech and project management taskmaster of sorts, who was absolutely ninja at that. And I was the creative, turning problems on its head sort of guy, more in the moment, spontaneous, but a deep problem thinker. I call it, between me and Sakshi, I'm the future, she's the present. And अगर आपने मेरे ऊपर एक्सेल शीट छोड़ दी तो मैं बेहोश हो जाऊंगा. But अगर आपने साक्षी के ऊपर एक्सेल शीट छोड़ी है, she will dice and slice it like a ninja and torture the truth out of it and screw you back. I won't do that. I will basically look at the Excel sheet and see, भाई TLDR बता दे, बात कर लेते हैं, देखो anyway. So I think we realized it while we were running two different companies. And I was helping Sakshi with some sales strategy, with hiring, with some teddy-meddy problems. And in that moment, Sakshi realized that in my telecom company, I was having some troubles, which I didn't even think that were solvable. I was just living with them. And Sakshi said, "Hey, this is solvable. I can help you." So me and Sakshi started kind of helping each other while running two different companies. So it became like a soft co-founder sort of area where you're not in each other's hair, yet you're involved. I think so for us, we realized 2-3 things in that 1.5 year overlap stint between 2010 and 11, that me and Sakshi are very similar temperament as people. Our reaction to stress, our reaction to happiness, our reaction to boredom is very similar, if not same. And we have complementary skills. So she fills up for my holes, lack everywhere. And I can fill up for the areas where, she may not be as good or interested. Yeah, I know. That sounded wrong. But the fact that you did not object on my holes, that's very genderist.
I burst out when you didn't use the same.
Because I'm aware. So nobody's. Actually not filling any of my holes. We don't swing that way. So I think we got this soft understanding of that we are compatible as co-founders.
Everywhere, right? There is just this public opinion that when you are co-founding with your partner, it can just be chaotic. कहते हैं ना, जहाँ प्यार वहाँ ना व्यापार. Basically saying कि आप co-found मत करो अपने partner के साथ, क्योंकि उससे कुछ ना कुछ something is going to go down.
It's more like a warning. Fire hazard, don't come close, is a warning for stupids. जहां प्यार वहां ना करो व्यापार comes from the fact that two people who are in relationship with each other because of social structure, which is friendship, cousins, brother, sister, husband, wife, because you don't spend time to really understand how is the other person and you, what is your relationship to money, what is your relationship to success, how do you behave in the face of failure. Are you an attacker? Are you the backer? When things go south in a group of 4-5 people, there will be different characters that will evolve. One guy will say कि कोई बात नहीं, हार गए, next क्या बता. One guy will say कि तुम्हारी वजह से हार गए, मैं तो आना नहीं चाहता था इसमें, तेरी वजह से ये हुआ है. One guy will say कि पता नहीं मेरी तो किस्मत ही खराब है, मैं तो जहां पे हाथ लगाता हूं वहां पे फट जाता है. It's just failure. But the character that comes out of these 4 people is the character that you need to know, which in the good days you never know. Because उस cousin के साथ आपने सिर्फ birthday party की है, उसके साथ आपने family weddings की है. If that can be sorted, then working in relationships is the best thing ever. You know, if the trust equation with your partner is, you know, the investment in the trust relationship is at that level, then you don't need to worry. Then you don't need to worry about equity. Then you don't need to worry about who owns the business. Then you don't need to worry about who spends the money. Then life is absolutely beautiful.
On that note, one of the things that you had spoken about, right, back when we were speaking about purpose and fulfillment, and उसमें आपने बताया था there was this Ayahuasca retreat that you'd gone to, right? What makes you, and you told me also this one thing, which is that there is heavy introspection you actively engage in, because of which you're always able to question, why are you doing XYZ? What makes you want to keep going deeper into these sorts of things? And with that Ayahuasca, right, it's one of, like, from what I've heard, a life-changing experience. Did it really change anything for you?
Ayahuasca is probably like the mother
Epitome.
of, you know, all that I did. But I think for not to trivialize all of it, if I responsibly answer this, I think no matter how happy, fulfilled, sad, unfulfilled you feel, there is an opportunity to go within and discover your layers. This has taken me from meditation to deep introspective frameworks like landmark education, to art of living style areas as well, spiritual, religious, scientific, to substance. Going through a mushroom experience, but the guided with the practitioners. I'm not talking about the fun drugs. Going through, an MDMA experience, again in a contained unit, very, very intentional to what you want to go through in this. I've seen people getting healed of trauma that they didn't consciously know existed. They didn't even know what they didn't know, right? I've seen people opening up to their blind spots in a grandest possible way. कि जिस moment में आप सुनोगे तो आपको लगेगा what the fuck, and the person was not even consciously aware that they were going through that. But all I can tell you is that I think it has just made me perpetually, more courage driven to accept my faults, to accept my mistakes, to accept the bad things, to accept the areas of improvement. I think it's a practice, it's a process. Am I completely there? I don't think so. मेरा threshold बहुत बड़ा हो गया. I'm sure अभी भी कोई होगा किसी दिन जो आके मेरे को छेड़ जाएगा. पर जिस दिन मैं छिड़ जाता हूँ, उस दिन मैं बैठ जाता हूँ कि इसका तो करेंगे बाद में इलाज, क्योंकि इसको तो मैं थप्पड़ कल भी मार सकता हूँ. आज तो ये सोचेंगे क्या छिड़ गया भाई, ये कौन सी इनसिक्योरिटी है जो इतना गुस्सा आ रहा है, क्यों आ रहा है गुस्सा, कौन है ये. And I have discovered so many times so many cool things because of this introspection कि अगले दिन जाके थप्पड़ भी नहीं मारा, क्योंकि लगा कि ठीक ही कह रहा था. अभी मतलब you know, मैं मतलब इसका बहुत ही funny story बताता हूँ. This is year 2006-7 and मेरे पास मेरी टेलीकॉम कंपनी की टीम में 12 लोग हैं. मैं 1 साल से 6 ऐसे लोगों को सैलरी दे रहा हूँ जो डिलीवर नहीं कर रहे हैं, और 4 ऐसे लोग हैं जो एकदम खतरनाक डिलीवर कर रहे हैं. पर मैं कोई तो बहुत ही कंफ्यूज्ड स्टेट में हूं. मैं सबकी सैलरी सेम रख रहा हूं, तो मैं अप्रेजल सबको इक्वल दे रहा हूं, क्योंकि डिफरेंशियल सैलरी कैसे दे दूं, आपस में बात करेंगे तो बुरा लगेगा. लाइक सम वेरी नाइव स्टूपिड स्टेट इन लाइफ. वन डे one of the guys who was actually the bottom in the laggards, he resigned and he went away. और वो जाते हुए, मैं ऑलरेडी शॉक्ड हूं कि वो गायब हो गया. वो जाते हुए बाकियों को बोल गया कि इस कंपनी में तुम्हारा कुछ नहीं हो सकता, यहां ग्रोथ नहीं होगी. और मुझे ये किसी ने बता दिया. गुस्सा इज एन अंडरस्टेटमेंट. मैं गुस्से से रोया, not cried in, that I was feeling bad. I dropped a tear because I was completely angry. I felt violated. I was like, मैंने 12 महीने इसको सैलरी दी, इतने अच्छे से रखा, साला काम भी नहीं करता था, blah 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 blah. And मैं उस दिन ऑफिस नहीं आया, 2 दिन ऑफिस नहीं आया. मैंने शांति से बैठ के सोचा. जब मैं थोड़ा शांत हुआ तो मैंने सोचा कि यार बात तो ठीक ही कह रहा था. जब इस कंपनी में 6 लोग बिना परफॉर्मेंस के अप्रेजल ले सकते हैं, ग्रोथ तो नहीं हो सकती. यहां पे हूं तो मैं गधाई, इसमें तो कोई शक नहीं है. मैं अगले दिन गया, मैंने उन 5 को फायर कर दिया. मैंने जो 4 बढ़िया थे उनकी सैलरीज डबल कर दी, और जो 2 मिड थे उनको फीडबैक दे दिया, और उनको बोला भैया ये ठीक कर लो, आगे कर देंगे. गॉट फिक्स्ड. आई गॉट फिक्स्ड फॉर एवर. मैं वो 2007 से ऑटो पायलट पे हूं, continuously appraising winners, continuously removing laggards, giving feedback to whoever can improve, and rinse and repeat. So that's all. That's the work of courage, and I thank that guy forever. He actually taught me कि सही बात है, जो आदमी laggards को साथ रख सकता है अप्रेज करते हुए, उसके यहाँ तो एक्चुअली ग्रोथ नहीं हो सकती है. He is actually right.
For the people who are listening, right, Ashish, I mean, you obviously have delved into this so deep. A lot of people may not have access to, let's say, Ayahuasca or a lot of other things, but they might still want to have some level of
interest. And I should please, disclaimer, please do not go for Ayahuasca just anywhere in the world. Please don't. These are powerful substances. They can go almost in any direction unless it's in the hands of the right practitioner. It's almost like getting a surgery done from some random Hakim Hajam type. Don't do that. Surgery karani hai to go to a hospital, go to a doctor, then you're fine.
Thank you for the disclaimer, and I think that's relevant to everyone. I want to ask a very toned down version of that, right? Because people have access to books, people have access to different things that they can do in their lives. What do you think for you personally helped through this journey? ये तो काफी late किया आपने Ayahuasca and everything.
Correct.
But I want to go back to like early on itself, because this is something that you're talking about when you were in your early 20s.
Yeah, I did. Like for example, I got exposed to landmark education when I was 20.
Yeah.
Which is insane. It's not spiritual. It's extremely scientific. But I think ownership, a life driven by ownership का जो framework landmark का है, मैंने उससे ज़्यादा powerful framework आज तक अभी तक experience नहीं किया है दोबारा.
Who do you think in your life, especially professionally, has really inspired you towards who you are today?
I have taken so much away from so many people in my life. That is unfunny. It's very difficult to really name, specific people. But one person that I can name who has had profound impact in my life, especially in the self-help, in this journey of experiencing not only meditation but through plant medicine, is Gautam Khetarpal. He's the founder of Life Plugin and Soul Presso. I've continuously picked a lot from so many people that I admire. There's this friend of mine, Dr. Ritesh Malik, very popular guy. I used to think that I help people. Then I saw him helping people. Then one day I felt, oh, I should up my game in helping. Then I saw more. And then one day I told him, I said, Ritesh bhai, you're very inspiring how you stand up for people. But today I should confess, I'm not inspired anymore. This is too tough and this is too tall an order to follow. Not interested. And he was like, what? I was like, that's true. I've seen you standing for people in ways where I am feeling कि नहीं भाई ये नहीं हो पाएगा इतना, ये हो गया ज़्यादा, ये वाला तो मैं नहीं करने में interested हूँ. So it's both ways, right? So you learn. You continuously pick great things from a lot of people, and I've actually seen that people who are generally more fulfilled in life, they attract me a lot. People who are people who have achieved a lot, but what do they talk about is very important to me. मैं नेम नहीं लेना चाहूँगा क्योंकि मैं उनको हर्ट नहीं करना चाहता, पर मैं बता सकता हूँ कि I know these two founders. Both are senior to me, super successful in their own companies. I love them both. But there is this one guy who is on the fulfillment side on a very different journey. If he will meet me, he will ask me, कैसा है, क्या हो रहा है, घर में सब कैसे हैं. And ये small talk नहीं है, ये थोड़ा deep questions है. ये वैसे वाला, ये सिर्फ यहाँ खत्म नहीं होते. तो he will ask me a couple deeper questions. And one day I met this other guy who's actually 3x bigger than him in the size of money and kind of success. And he met me and he said, ARR कितना हो गया? And in that moment, I laughed. And I was like, wow, बड़ा नहीं हुआ ये. इसका evolution रुक गया. In no way I had any problems answering that. I did answer that. But it was extremely shocking in that moment. And then I started observing कि उसका क्या हो रहा है. And then I saw कि उसकी सारी relationships ARR के हिसाब से चल रही हैं. And I'm like, अरे मेरे भाई, कट जाएगा eventually. अभी थोड़ी चल रहा है. So I think, so I also see what not to pick. I think I continue to keep segregating what do I need to pick, what do I not need to pick. And that just goes back to value system. That just goes back to keep updating that file of value system. And that also goes back to that when you start surrounding yourself with so many such people who inspire you and who are coherent with your value system, that noise goes down and that signal becomes so strong that your induced ambition is not going to stray. Somebody with a flashy car and a flashy watch or a flashy office or a large ARR or a large fundraise is not going to impact you that much because your signal is so strong that the noise just separates out and you appreciate it or you like it and you say, yeah, take care, it's okay. We'll move on from that.
I like that the closure of this conversation is going back to where it started, which is induced ambition. I have this final departing question to you, especially for a lot of our listeners, right? What would you advise your 20-year-old self if yourself was 20-year-old right now to pick up?
In context of starting up?
In context of starting up, doing something.
In your first 10 years or first 5 years, just ruthlessly prioritize to work with good people with your value system, people with your vibe. It's a life hack. Second, I think there is a lot of this induced ambition on social media about following your passion without means. Please don't. Money is very important. Earn some and do whatever fuck you want. If the path is entrepreneurship and you have the means to sustain, go ahead. If you don't have the means to sustain, go work with somebody who can help you deliver, means to sustain. In fact, go and build somebody else's dream before you build yours. All this stuff that I see on internet at times, ki work hard, otherwise somebody will recruit you to build their own dream. Bullshit. I know more employed people who are much more wealthier than entrepreneurs that I know, even after 10, 15 years. I know employed people जिनके गुड़गांव में 4 अपार्टमेंट हो गए हैं और उनकी ही कंपनी का एंटरप्रेन्योर किराए पे रह रहा है. How crazy is that? Do you want to give that entrepreneur a medal? No. He signed up for it. That's his life. उसका ग्रेटिफिकेशन किधर और है, उसका भी ठीक चल रहा है, इसका भी ठीक चल रहा है. But there is no, dream किसकी बिल्ड हो रही है उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. आप अपनी अलाइन कर लो, आपकी भी हो जाएगी. So my only point will be that if you're too young, early in your career, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a professional, whether you're employed, please work hard. Please invest in yourself in things that you're saying that you want to invest yourself in. Please prioritize working with the right people instead of right package, instead of right money. And that will probably take us back to the starting of this conversation. Money has color. आप जब एक कंपनी में काम करते हैं, उससे पैकेज नेगोशिएट करते हैं, तो उसके साथ बहुत कुछ आता है, वो भी आपको लेना पड़ेगा. 20s are for saying yes to continuously explore. And I think from that point onwards, it is just Pareto's. You find your 20, you give it 80. You find your 20, you give it 80. And you continue narrowing it down and sharpening your axe. It's a process, never ends. Whether you're in 30s, whether you're in 40s, it's the same shit. I don't really believe कि 30 के बाद जिंदगी चेंज हुई, 40 के बाद चेंज हुई. Dynamics evolve कर रहे हैं, पर I think आप भी dynamics के साथ evolve कर रहे हैं. 20s में मेरे को तो कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं था कि मुझे प्रॉपर्टी खरीदनी है. 30s में मुझे इंटरेस्ट था कि मुझे प्रॉपर्टी खरीदनी है, पर 30s में मेरे पैसे भी तो थे. तो I mean it's what is following whom, I don't know. But I think it's evolution. I don't think there are hard milestones on that. I think life is happening to you. आपके लाइफ में बहुत सारे डायनामिक्स जुड़ रहे हैं. आप उन डायनामिक्स को रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहे हो.
I have one last question because you mentioned working hard, right, in the previous answer. I also remember you talking about this in terms of IITs, right? The badge of IIT versus a non-IIT person. And I remember you talking about this in terms of how at one point you were aspiring towards IIT,
yeah,
and naturally that didn't happen. For a lot of people, it could have deterred them, but you had your own journey towards different things. So does the flavor of working hard or the spectrum of working hard, where you fit on it, change based on different pedigree related tags?
Not really, not at all. I think pedigree से बस यही चेंज होता है कि आपकी सोशल वैलिडेशन बढ़ जाती है, जो कि आप डिजर्व भी करते हो, क्योंकि आपने वो कम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम क्रॉस किया, फिर आपने उस कॉलेज को सर्वाइव किया, फिर आपने हैवी कम्पिटिटिव यूनिवर्स में कुछ जिंदा निकल गया वहाँ से, तो आप डिजर्व करते हो सोशल वैलिडेशन. बस वो सोशल वैलिडेशन है. बस आपको ज़्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ मिलेंगी, ज़्यादा लोग आप पे ऑटोमेटिकली ट्रस्ट कर लेंगे. दूसरे वाले को मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. जैसे हमारी कंपनी के लिए हम रेस्टोरेंट टेक में काम करते हैं, ऑरेकल को कुछ नहीं करना पड़ता ज़्यादा, हमें मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. पर ये तो ठीक है ना, फिर यही तो काम है. मतलब अभी मैं क्यों बोलूँ कि that CIO is an asshole, he is not believing in a startup, he wants to give business to Oracle. कौन हो आप? मतलब क्यों नहीं दे वो Oracle को? उसका करियर दाव पे है. If Oracle screws up, उसके 3 खून माफ हैं. आपने छींक मारी, ये फायर हो जाएगा. वो सबसे पहले पूछेगा बोर्ड की, ये कौन लाया था भैया इनको, कौन है ये रेस्टोवर्क्स, राइट? So I'm signing up for it, that I need to work 10x harder to also clarify why am I on the table, why do I deserve to be on the table, then prove my product works, then prove I'm reliable, then sign guarantees and warranties, and then come through on the promise in action, and then do it over so many years that it becomes the truth. Oracle has done that couple of decades back.
Yeah.
They deserve it. It's okay.
They have worked hard. It's just
Correct.
not visible.
As I said, like somebody who has studied for competitive exam, cracked it at top rank, went through that college, they deserve it. जलिए मत. वो एक नॉर्थ इंडिया में ट्रक्स के पीछे लिखा होता है, जलो मत, रीस करो. हाँ?
रीस का क्या मतलब?
रीस is compete. He said, don't be jealous, compete. Right? That's fair.
Ashish, before we end this episode, are there any last thoughts that you would want to share?
No, I think you're just doing a great job. I have said yes to doing a podcast after a very long time, by the way.
I appreciate that.
No, and I think that is not, I mean, not to make it sound like a favor. That is also because of what I perceive of you is aligned with how I look at life, which is you're continuously rediscovering yourself, you're continuously experimenting. I see you going out of your comfort zone, I think rather way out of your comfort zone for doing things and putting it out on social media. No, that's true. This conversation was exactly, as that.
On that note, Ashish is one person you should definitely take inputs from. He is an angel investor himself. He himself has built a bootstrapped business with very little funding that he's picked up, but he has built a sustainable, long-lasting business which only continues to prosper and exceptionally kind, exceptionally helpful in whatever you're building. Go follow him and learn from him. I know I do. And if you're at any point, again, coming back to the crux of the podcast, confused between what path to take, don't just necessarily settle for the conventional, go for the most aligned. That's the essence of what Ashish has shared with us today. Closing off, this is Not Me Baby. I'm your host, Deep Sitawar, with Ashish Tulsian, and I shall see you in the next episode.